Rich Rodriguez with us, his podcast, Hard Edge Football Podcast. Check it out. He does it every week with his daughter. It is terrific content inside and out of college football. Okay, so you're sitting here today visiting with me a few years removed from U of A. The program has bottomed out from my view. Jump in and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. Rich, that job has now turned into one of the most difficult places in all of college football in the Power Five conferences. What has happened since you left?
Well, it's first off, Arizona, Tucson's a great place. U of A is a great university. But it's not an easy job. It's not the most difficult job, but it's not an easy job. Location and other factors make it a little bit more difficult than maybe some brand name schools would have you. But you can win there. The facility has gotten better. My second year, we moved into the new football facility. They just moved into the beautiful, just had a beautiful new indoor building built, which I thought was the last missing piece that we needed. And that was just built thanks to my friend Cole Davis that gave him a lot of money. And that's right there on campus. So they've got their facilities. They've got a great town, a great school, but you got to work at it. It's not and I think one of the things you have to do as a coach and as a staff is for your players, you have to make it really, really important. Not that football is not important in the community or to the school, it is, but there's not the same sense of importance when they walk outside the football facility as there would be, say, at Ohio State or Alabama or USC or some of those brand name places. So as a staff, you got to overemphasize the importance of working hard, doing the right things, practicing, all the right things to do to win championships. And if you do that as a staff and your players have that mindset, then you have a chance to win. I thought we had one bad year in 6. We went to 5 out of 6 years. We went to bowl games in the one bad year, but we thought when we left in 17 that there were all the skill guys were back, 6 freshmen starting on defense, and we were going to take another leap, a big leap, and be okay. And we didn't get that opportunity, which obviously I'm still upset about.
Yeah, because I look at it and say, when you were there, and you were very welcoming to media, you were visible to fans, you were visible to recruits within state. Your season ticket base at U of A when you were there was north of 25,000 from my understanding. My understanding now it's below 10,000. So I know losing, I know basketball, I get all of that stuff, but it feels like Kevin didn't do any of that while he was there. So turning the page and looking for the next person to come in, what is it going to take? Because it's been set back since you left. There's no denying that.
Yeah, I think that, you got to re-energize the fan base. You got to have an exciting style football. I think you got to have a staff that works, get the interest back in the community. Because again, Tucson's a great place. And this is I think more now than ever, there are a lot of people moving to Arizona, moving to Phoenix, Scottsdale, moving to Tucson because of the weather and the beauty of the state. So you got to capture that, and then you got to work like crazy on not only on recruiting, which is obviously the lifeblood, but on the transfer portal, making sure your good players don't get in it. Yep. The good players you can get to help you immediately, you do that. And then just kind of start from scratch. It's going to be more of a work, particularly if somebody comes in that doesn't know the problems that they have or can fix the issues that they have. It's going to take a couple years to rebuild that. And, I have some of my own thoughts about that, but I do think, if there's enough positives at the U of A, there's enough positives in Tucson that you can win. And to take the step to win big, I think they got to get the right people in there.
Well, and from my point of view, and correct me on this one too, in this day and age, you're a CEO, not that you weren't back when you were there, but a head coach has now got to be the guy that can go sit with boosters. You mentioned a donor earlier. He's got to be someone that goes in front of cameras and doesn't close off practice and doesn't push away high school coaches around the state of Arizona. All those things have happened, from my understanding, in visiting with the high school coaches in particular. So that next person's got to have ties to the state, I would believe. And so from that point of view, do you see some names as you're sitting out there? I'm going to ask for names if you've got some that you think would make sense for this job for President Robbins and Dave Hickey to speak with?
Yeah, I do think, recruiting in state, no matter where you're at, is always your first thought, because those players, not only you can find some really good players. You don't have to spend as much money traveling to go see them. But
Yeah.
also, they're going to have a sense of loyalty, Brad, to the school because they understand the state, they understand the town, they understand the university. So that's always where you first start. And as a head coach now, it's not just recruiting, it's not just practicing and having the right schemes. It's also going to be roster management. You got to be able to handle this with players all coming back. Nobody lost eligibility from this year. The transfer portal. You ought to be able to have the NIL legislation that's coming into effect. And so you better have a head coach that understands building the whole thing and having a staff that has the same kind of vision and can do that. And you got to work this, let's get honest with it. These coaches, and I was one of them, we get paid a lot of money to have success and build a right program. So you got to work your tail off each and every day to do that. And you owe that to the school, and your staff owes that to the school to work like that.